You got it. The thing you wanted for 2 years. The offer. The acceptance. The message that said yes. You imagined this moment enough times that it had a soundtrack. You have been standing in your kitchen for 11 minutes, waiting to feel it. And it is not coming. There is a small, strange body of research about this. It starts, as these things often do, with lottery winners. In 1978, 3 researchers, Philip Brickman, Dan Coates, and Ronnie Janoff-Bulman, tracked down people who had recently won the Illinois state lottery. Then they interviewed them. How happy are you now? How happy were you before? How much do you enjoy ordinary things, talking with a friend, hearing a joke, eating breakfast? The winners rated their present happiness slightly higher than a control group of ordinary people from the same neighborhoods. Slightly, not significantly. But on the everyday pleasures, the friend, the joke, the breakfast, the winners scored lower than the people who had won nothing at all. The explanation offered was adaptation. You adjust. The new thing becomes the baseline, and the baseline is where you already live. It was named the hedonic treadmill, and for about 25 years it was the answer. Hold on to that number. 22 winners. We are coming back to it. One study, 22 people, 1978. The treadmill had a problem, and the person who found it was a psychologist named Richard Lucas. If everyone returns to their own fixed baseline, then that has to be true for everything, not just lottery wins, losses too. So he went looking for data nobody in the field was using. A German household survey that had been asking the same people the same questions every year for 15 years. Marriages, job losses, deaths, disability. Every year, the same people, saying how satisfied they were with their lives. Some of it fit. After marriage, satisfaction rose, then drifted back down toward where it had been. The treadmill held, and some of it did not fit at all. After long-term unemployment, satisfaction dropped. And in the data, for many people, it did not climb back. Not after the job came back. Years later, the line was still lower than where it started, which broke the theory. Not partly. If people do not always return to baseline, then the baseline is not fixed, and the treadmill is not a treadmill. In 2006, Lucas and his colleagues published the paper that said so, and the field had to start over on a question it thought it had closed 30 years earlier, which left the original question wide open, because none of this explains the 11 minutes in your kitchen. Around the same time, 2 researchers were asking a different question. Not how long does the feeling last? How good were you at predicting it in the first place? Dan Gilbert and Tim Wilson called it affective forecasting, predicting your own future emotions, and people turn out to be bad at it in a specific, repeatable way. They asked assistant professors how they would feel if they were denied tenure. The professors predicted years of unhappiness. Then the researchers found professors who had actually been denied tenure and asked them how they felt. They were fine, not thrilled, fine, roughly as satisfied with their lives as the ones who got it. The pattern held across the things they tested: breakups, election results, sports outcomes. People consistently overestimated how long the feeling would last. Gilbert and Wilson called it the impact bias, and their explanation was not that you adapt afterward. It is that you were wrong beforehand. The feeling you were waiting for in your kitchen was a feeling you invented in advance, and then measured reality against. That one is on solid ground. It has been run many times, in many places, and it keeps coming out the same way. But that raises a question the impact bias does not answer on its own. Why would you be wrong in the same direction every single time? In 1998, David Schkade and Kahneman ran a study on this. They asked students in the Midwest and students in California a simple question: who is more satisfied with life? Both groups said California. Both groups were wrong. On the measures used, the 2 groups reported similar overall life satisfaction. When you ask someone to imagine a life with one thing changed, they think about the thing. They do not think about the commute, the laundry, the afternoon, the ordinary hours where most of a life actually happens. Kahneman called it a focusing illusion, which is what happened in your kitchen. You spent 2 years imagining the moment. You never once imagined the 11 minutes after it. Now, the lottery winners. That study is one of the most cited findings in the psychology of happiness. It has been repeated in books, in articles, in videos, for almost 50 years, usually in the form, lottery winners are no happier than anyone else. It was 22 winners, interviewed once, in one state, in 1 year, with no measurements taken before they won. Every comparison to their earlier happiness came from asking them to remember it. It was a small study, run once, that became a fact by repetition, and the theory built on top of it did not survive contact with better data. The hedonic treadmill, as originally stated, is not what the long-term evidence shows. Some events move people permanently, so the honest version is thinner than the version you have heard. Getting the thing does not reliably make you happy forever, and losing it does not reliably ruin you forever. And neither of those is because you have a set point you always snap back to. It is because the version of the moment you built in advance was never a prediction. It was a picture, with everything ordinary edited out. It is 12:04. The champagne is still closed. You will feel it in about 3 weeks, on a Tuesday, for no reason, in a car. Learned behavior. Sources in the description.